Taurus and Polaris friends. It's Miss Kristen
and Miss Marina here.
We are so excited this morning because we are going to go take a nature walk.
Yes.
We are focusing on plants today because there are lots of cool things happening outside right now. However, if we see some birds, hear some birds, or see some insects, we will show them to you.
Mm-hmm.
As we are going on our nature walk today, we are going to look awkward taking videos around the people jogging.
Yes.
But that's okay. It's okay to look silly sometimes. But we brought some materials with us. So first things first is if you have an adult that you're taking with you, they might want some coffee, like Miss Marina does.
Black coffee or, with cream and sugar.
Whatever your preference is. The second thing that we're going to take with us is a clipboard. If you don't have a clipboard, that is okay. You can use any hard surface that you can tape some paper to. Mm-hmm. And on our clipboard, we kind of have a scavenger hunt that we will upload when we upload this lesson to you.
Mm-hmm.
And we have some paper with the scavenger hunt and also some blank paper so we can draw some pictures. I also have some hand sanitizer on my belt because Miss Marina and I are going into a gated area and we want to protect ourselves.
Sure.
And also our keys to our home.
Yeah.
Don't forget those.
Don't forget those.
Miss Marina, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Let's go.
First, we have Miss Kristen's car. Second things first, we have a tree right outside our house and it has some buds on it. Miss Marina, what are we seeing here?
So these are fresh buds for the spring. I think it's going to take some time to identify this tree. You can't really identify them just based off of the bud. There's many different species that it could be, but I'm excited to hunt further into figuring out what it is. We've also got some fresh, I believe, tulip bulbs of some sort coming out of the ground, which is really exciting. That means life is here. And of course some green vines on the ground as well. People would call them weeds. I don't like to call them weeds.
Miss Marina, I'm pretty sure our landlords planted those.
Oh.
They're weeds.
Well, then they're definitely not weeds if our landlords planted them. I'd like to discuss that. Well, I'd just like to say that
Miss Marina, we're not making cuts for this video.
Please make cuts for this myself. I just want to mention something really important when it comes to identifying plants. Some people identify certain plants as weeds, and that kind of has a sad, mean, bad connotation to it. So I don't like to call them weeds. I just like to call them fun plant friends, because not all weeds are bad, and you don't have to pull all the weeds. Sometimes I think they're really pretty, like dandelions.
Great.
Thanks.
All right, Miss Marina, are we ready?
Yes.
What do you see here?
Yes. I see green, luscious green grass here, and I'm really excited because it looks like this spot gets a whole lot of sun throughout the day. Unfortunately, the spot over there doesn't get very much sun, and so a really important part about growing any plants, trees, anything botany related is the sun.
Miss Marina, would you say that is a major thing that a plant needs in order to survive?
Yes.
I don't know if
you can actually see it, but there is some pollination happening right before our very eyes. Yes. We have plants. Well, we have buds and brand new tiny little friends sprouting. These look like what, Miss Kristen? This part?
It looks like the reproductive parts.
It does, and so
it's hard to see on
it is kind of hard to see, but this right here is a nice fun event where it looks like pollination is occurring.
Do you see all the bees?
There's probably about 50-ish, maybe less, bees kind of just pollinating and doing what they do best.
Wow! Miss Marina!
I have to show my excitement twice because Miss Kristen wasn't filming.
Miss Marina,
Yes.
we found more nature. What is that?
That is a paper wasp nest, and you would not know that it's there until all of the leaves fall from that tree. So what they do, actually, wasps chew paper or use their spit as an adhesive and pretty much glue together a bunch of degraded, gross pieces of paper to make a nest.
Cool.
Right? Like, I couldn't do that.
Miss Marina, really quick before we move on, we should talk about some safety because you just reminded me of some safety things. What happened? What was I doing?
Miss Kristen was standing in the middle of the street. There might not be a lot of people out right now, but that's still not safe.
Yeah, so practice safety, boys and girls. Always look both ways before you cross the street, just like Miss Marina. Safe to cross, Miss Marina.
They pop up from the ground roots. They hang all around roots. They like to say hello. They don't want to see you go.
These are the root systems of this really large tree. So we have a vascular plant here, which means that it is a plant, aka tree, that has roots, stem, or a trunk, and then, you can kind of see teeny tiny buds forming.
It's the size of my head.
What is that?
This is a maple leaf.
How do we know?
Well, it has, first of all, maple leaves are pretty big, but it could be a baby maple, so you never really know. But usually the leaves as an adult maple are pretty large. This is the size of my hand, and it has 3 points to it. Yep. So I don't know the venation off the top of my head, like what that would be called. I think it's palmate venation, but don't quote me.
Look at all of the veins.
Yeah, and the veins start at the base and then spread out to the 3 lobes of the leaf. See, Miss Kristen, you know a whole lot about plants.
And the veins help transport food and water and all sorts of stuff to make the leaf grow. Obviously, this is a dead leaf. It's not green, and we know that it's dead because all plants have chlorophyll, which helps make them that green color and also feeds them. So this, unfortunately, is not attached to anything, but we know that it's got lots of cool systems happening.
It had a life. It was alive. It did its job.
Not nature. Not nature. Here, joke.
Yes.
I'm really liking what I'm seeing here.
Okay.
Because this is lichen. Oh, wow, you sounded like an owl just then, Miss Marina.
You're welcome.
Are we going across the street?
I'm not illegally crossing the street.
What's that?
Jaywalking?
No.
Oh.
What's a tree?
Oh, well, that is
Bird.
an evergreen. Oh,
Sorry, distracting.
okay.
Oh my god, they're all on top of that house. Okay, anyway.
That is an evergreen tree, or I guess you could call it an evergreen. The thing is there's many different types. There's a spruce, there's
It's a type
pine.
of, what kind of a tree is that, a conifer?
That is a type of conifer. So
Yeah.
conifers are really cool because they have cones, like pine cones. You've seen pine cones. And they also are really cool because they don't drop their leaves. Most of them. Sometimes they do, but most of them do not drop.
Marina,
Fungus.
there's fungus among us.
Those are plate friends.
Aren't they called shelf mushrooms?
Yeah, that's what I said. No, those are really cool. Those are shelf mushrooms. I think what's really cool about mushrooms is that they have individual cells underneath the actual mushroom. Bunch of little holes. So if you find a mushroom, please don't take it off of a tree. I believe they're mutualistic, which means that they benefit each other. The tree helps the mushroom helps the tree, but please don't take them off. They are really cool though if you can get close enough to see those. Fact about spruce and pine trees, conifers in general, the ones that have the cones, is that they don't drop their needles during the winter. And that's because they have really, really small, skinny needles. Each needle is considered an individual leaf. So if you were to compare it to a tree, you could compare one single tiny, tiny needle to a giant maple leaf. And they do the same thing. They're meant for the same purpose. And so why they don't drop their leaves is that because they're so small, they don't have to use those reserves. They have less surface area. And so they don't lose the moisture as fast as big giant maple leaves lose their moisture. And so when they don't lose the moisture, they get to stay and stick onto the tree because the tree doesn't have to give anything to it in the winter. They just hold on to those reserves. Whereas a maple leaf has to drop its leaves. If it doesn't, the tree is wasting its reserves in the winter because it needs more sunlight to feed those leaves. Quick edit about conifers is that yes, they do hold on to their leaves most of the time throughout winter, but one of the big reasons that they hold on to it is also because of their waxy layer on the outside of their individual little... What are they called?
Needles.
Because
we have an example right here.
Yes, because of their the waxy layer covering each individual needle, they're able to hold on to the moisture for the tree throughout winter. And because the days are shorter, which is why there's less sun, there's also less photosynthesis. So when there's less photosynthesis, the tree gets less energy, and these specifically are able to hold on to their moisture so they don't have to photosynthesize as often as deciduous trees. The end. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk.
About plants.
About plants.
Also, just remember, we're not botanists.
We are not.
Yeah, we are kind of on someone's yard, so we don't want to get too close, but we found some flowers.
They're very, very beautiful, but I'm not even going to pretend to know what those are. Like I said earlier, there's so many different types of flowers and trees and plants that be true to yourself when you don't know what something is. Even teachers have to look up things too, and we gotta be smart about it, so I'll use the guide later.
Should we try to draw a picture?
Right now?
Yeah.
Yes. Ugh. Oh no, I lost my pencil.
My pencil.
No.
Miss Marina is going to try to draw what she's seeing.
No, there's a reason why I'm not an art teacher.
You're a great drawer, Miss Marina. You can do anything you put your mind to. So we're going to draw this so that way we can try to remember later. But if you can't draw it, you can always ask a mom or dad or grandparent, whoever you're with, to take a picture. Miss Bridget, we could use you here today.
Yes, we could. Bulb plants. So those are plants, flowers that start from the ground, underneath the ground, and have a shoot, and they come up. They have a cool bulb at the bottom, at the base of the plant, and that's what's underground. Unfortunately, it makes it kind of hard to identify them. But
Until there's flowers.
Until there's a flower, correct. So you can make a hypothesis, an educated guess as to what it could possibly be. It could be, what did you say, Miss Kristen? A tulip
or a daffodil.
Any kind of bulb plant. But I'm excited to maybe come back another time and see what these end up being.
We could come back in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
While we're here, we might as well take note that a plant needs certain things in order to be able to survive. It needs soil, which we're seeing here.
This is
It
wood
needs,
chips, but there's soil underneath.
yeah, air, which I can feel, the wind. And then it needs sun, which is very much getting today. And it needs water, and it's supposed to rain for the next few days. So when you're planting things at home, typically you would water them yourself, but trees, we don't really water trees or bushes. The earth waters those for us. So yeah, so these trees and plants right here look like they're gonna get everything that they need to survive.
One more thing about these friends down here. These were likely planted a while back, maybe a couple of years. Could have been last year. I don't really know. But
We don't live here. We don't live here.
We don't live here.
We
yes.
didn't plant them.
No, I didn't plant them. What I do know, though, is that these are considered perennials, which is a plant that comes back year after year without having to replant it.
Yes.
An annual is a plant that you have to plant the seed every year. And so these bulbs just come back on their own, which is really cool. And a lot of gardeners really like them because they don't have to go back out and do all that work every year.
And they don't stay for super long. We are at somebody else's lawn, being very careful to not get on their property, but I noticed a rose bush here. And I noticed it's rose bush because it has thorns. And then there's these beautiful pinwheel flowers.
Oh, I really like them.
So we found more of these flowers, and Miss Marina drew them.
What are those?
But I also know that these are, they're my shoes, Miss Marina. But these are actually called crocuses.
Miss Kristen, can you come get a picture of this so we can identify this later?
Sure.
I really like them. They look like they're just hanging out. And you can see the pollen pockets. Quick. Oh. Okay, so the pollen pockets. You can, if you can get kind of close, which you probably can't, but there's little pockets on the legs of bees, and they hold onto pollen. So if you get a really close picture of a bee, a honeybee particularly, they have these cool little pockets that they hold pollen, and they look like they have fuzzy little thighs.
All right, Polaris and Antares friends, we have completed our walk. Miss Marina, we saw so much nature.
We did. We saw a lot of nature. I'm actually very surprised that we saw that much nature because people always say that it's hard to see nature in Chicago, but I think if you open up your eyes, you can see it.
We've proven that wrong, and you know that we came from living in the woods, so we know a thing or two about nature.
Yes, we do.
On top of all the dogs we got to pet safely.
Yes.
6 feet away from their owners.
Yes.
Anyway, so we will, what are you looking at?
I'm just looking.
She's still looking for nature. So we will post this video, and we will post a challenge for you to get out with your family looking for nature, and we'll give you a scavenger hunt that you can either write down or print, and we're so excited to see what you find.